This is Dror Kasuto. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome. How are you doing? I know that many of us are very concerned with what that goes on in the Holy Land of Israel, and like hundreds of rockets and katyushot and alarms, and people are running to the shelters, and all this horrific fear, and especially for people that are like people that lives in the US, like you live in a land that you kind of don't have enemies, and it's compared to war zones like Israel, it's kind of a safe place. And I had students that a few years ago, when we still lived in Israel, so I had few students that came from New York, and when there were alarms, like they were terrified, like they didn't know what to do with themselves. Like, you're not used to hear those alarms here in the US, and like so for people like you guys, people that don't know, not so familiar with what it goes on over there in Israel, it's like you hear all the information over the news, and like all the opinions and interpretations and arguments and social media and Facebook, like people are freaking out what's going to happen and what's going to be, and Trump's new plan for peace, and like everyone are going wild with their opinions, and especially those ones that are so desiring for redemption, and they see in every situation signs of Mashiach, and Mashiach is coming. And so I must say a few things. First of all, when you live in Israel, in the Holy Land of Israel, so even though that many things like that can happen, and it's true that people that lives in the south are suffering more than people that lives in the center, and people that lives in quiet villages, they feel less of the tension than those ones that lives in the settlements and in the yeshuvim. And it's true that there is pressure, but I must say that meanwhile that those things are taking place and rockets are falling, people are still alive. Like, it's with no doubt the hard hours and the difficulties and the pain that people are going through is not something that we ignore or that we should ignore, but also we must remember that life's continuing and that things are moving forward, and with all the pain and the loss. You know, my mother, she was married to a pilot that he was the father of both of my elder brothers, and he was killed in the war above the desert of Sinai, and the Egyptians shot his airplane, and him and another 6, if I'm not wrong, 6 of his crew been killed. And one of the crew survived somehow. He was able to jump with a parachute, and he survived, but 6 out of 7 has been killed. And my mother, she left with two babies. One was 1.5 years old, and the other one was like few months old, orphans already. And it was a very hard life for her, and all 5 years until she met my father. So she lived alone. Her mother lived in a different city, and barely was able to assist and to help her. But after 5 years, she met my father, and they got married, and then had me. And you look today like to the past, and you must deal with reality that life goes on, and it's not easy, it's not simple, and no one is saying that really. Like, I never say it's all for the good, and I never teach people to thank for their problems. I never go with that attitude, with that method. I never do that. I always say to all my students, when you feel pain, when you feel sorrow, you need to express that honest feelings of yours and to pray for change. You need to call Hashem and to tell him, listen, I'm not able to deal with it. Yesterday night a student came to me, a friend came to me after class in Manhattan. It was a wonderful class, thank God. And he came to me and he told me, I'm finding it kind of hard that it's written that the Creator doesn't put problems that are too hard for you to deal with when you see that people are committing suicide, people are cutting their own lives. And like every person like that killed himself, pain, because of that life was too much for him, is an evidence for the fact that life can be too much for you. And what do you think? What do you suggest? What do you think a person should do if he finds that life is too hard? So I told him that I'm, first of all, really don't know what he's going through, and I'm not coming to tell him that there is that he should be like, hey, you need to be positive and things are okay, and like whatever. I don't know, like it might be that he suffers so badly that I can never understand his pain and how hard it is for him, and I believe in that. I believe that people are suffering. I believe that people are going through hell. I have my own days that I'm climbing on the walls, like you have nights that you're not able to go to sleep, your thoughts are running to all places and to such dark places. Like, I will never tell a person, no, cheer up, things are okay, whatever. It's not, so I told him my way to survive and to cross life and to hold on through life is by giving myself that certain time, a daily break from life, and I go out to a quiet place, even in my own room, like whatever, in your office, in your car, in your porch, in your backyard, to a quiet place, and I'm just like reminding myself, trying to settle my own mind to what's the purpose of my life, like what am I doing here. I gave an example yesterday in class for a parent, that he works 10 hours every day to bring money for his family's needs, and when he comes at night to the house, so he sees his child taking an apple and give a bite on that apple, and already that moment of him seeing his child just like enjoying the fruits that he is able to put on the table by working so hard, it gives him the push, the encouragement for tomorrow's work. Like, it was worth it. All this day that I was working so hard, it was worth it for that moment that I can see my child sitting and eating, or just like enjoying that apple. Like, it's worth it. And I said to that friend, your car can drive for days based on 5 minutes that you were putting gas in your car. Like, for 5 minutes you stop to refill your car, and then you drive for days with that amount of fuel. So take that time to remind yourself of your life purpose and to understand what's your mission, to remind yourself of like, why am I doing it, and for what am I suffering, for what am I sacrificing, what's the use of all those things that I'm going through. Talk to yourself about it. Remind yourself of the good times that you have in life, and also take that quiet time to speak to the Creator and to ask for your needs and to pray. And that simple individual prayer with the Creator, that simple conversation with the Creator and with yourself is for me is the main way to charge my battery. And if I wouldn't have those 5 minutes, those 10 minutes, that 1 hour that I'm taking for myself, that break, I don't know how I would survive, how I would move on and continue in life. Like, you love everyone and you want to do good, but you need to remind yourself of those things, because life can take you to some weird places in your thoughts. Like, you can find yourself in very low places, and without that advice of individual prayer, I don't know how I would cross life. I think that that's the main lifeline for a person to have his mind to keep sanity and to keep himself like connected to reality. So I just wanted to say about the condition in Israel that I understand the pain and the sorrow, and our heart is with all those ones that are experiencing the pain and the sorrow. And you know, from Israel you cannot understand what goes on outside of Israel, and from outside of Israel it's very hard to understand what's going on over there. Like, the news reporters are not reflecting the right picture. Like, you cannot sense reality from the news, and not from phone calls of people under pressure, and not from Facebook, and not from nowhere. Like, the posts doesn't reflect the reality. Only people that really are there or were there or understand the condition can really tell you what's going on. And with all the sorrow and with all the pain, life goes on, and people, they have their lives over there, and people are okay. And even though that some are suffering badly, and families lost some of our siblings, and our heart is with them, with all the honesty and with all the pain, and in their death they are commanding us to continue and march and to continue. And that's exactly why I told you about my mother. And like, all right, so her husband died and left her with two babies, but if it wouldn't take place in reality, I wouldn't come to this world. Like, and it's crazy. Like, you can never wish for horrible things, you can never look at them and like, oh, positive. No, my brothers grew up in many aspects as orphans. Like, it's like stinky life. It's not easy. Like, it's very frustrating, like, to lose your father before you met him. Like, both of them can't remember him, only pictures are like telling them what really happened. Like, they don't know, they never saw, like, they were babies. But when you look back and you understand that there's a greater plan than you can imagine, and more life should come to the world, and different things are being built on the ruins, on the leftovers, on the destructions of different lifetimes. With all the pain and with all the sorrow, we all must strengthen each other and support ourselves, support our siblings, support all the charity organizations that are helping and supporting our wonderful Emunah project, that is a non-profit organization, and we support many others by your support, and just doing the best that we can, and you know, staying strong and holding hands and staying together. That's what we can do, that's what we can offer. I pray for you guys, and I want you to know that I'm checking the names of all those wonderful guys that are commenting on the Facebook, and we read the emails and responding to them, and on WhatsApp, and we're friends and feel comfortable to be in touch. And if you have any questions and any thoughts, you can always send those to info@emuna.com. And Emuna, you should remember that it's with H in the end, that you won't forget Hashem. Emunah in Hashem, not Emunah in nonsense, Emunah in junk, Emunah in the truth, Emunah in Hashem. Thank you guys, we love you, we pray for you, and pray for Israel, pray for the holy souls of all the tribes of Israel, for all the unique and wonderful people to come back to themselves and to find true happiness. May the Creator bless us all as one, that all our prayers will be answered in no time, and all of our dreams will come true. Amen. Thank you. Be strong.
Please subscribe and like this video, and share it with your friends to help spread faith in the world. For more, please visit emuna.com.